One world, your station.
Emraan Hashmi, Krystle, wonderful to see you guys. Most important question, both of you, Emraan, Krystle, I hope your families are safe and healthy, as you know, these are tough times.
Yeah, I mean, it's been quite a year since 2020 right now, and just when we were letting our guard down, suddenly we see this caseload explode on the scene. But yeah, people who've got their guard down, I just want to tell everyone that COVID hasn't gone. It's still a reality, and just kind of stay safe.
Yep. I live alone, so for me, it's a little less scary when I go back home. But I'm sure everyone that lives with families are a little more scared than I am. Of course, I'm scared for myself at times, but I keep getting tested.
Imran, you must be really thrilled with the response to the promo. You're having a bit of a good run. Well, as good a run as it can be in these times, considering, you've just come off the back of Mumbai Saga, and here's another film which is going to be in the theaters. The trailer is getting superb responses in terms of it being a whodunit, a thriller. When did Rumi first bring the script to you, and was it a Amitabh Bachchan yes or script yes? Because nobody can blame you for saying Amitabh Bachchan yes.
Yeah, no, it was a Amitabh Bachchan yes first, and then it was a script yes, which was a bonus. So I was sold on the fact that Abhijit was doing it, because me as an actor, as a fan, as a fanboy, I've always wanted to see his process. Always wanted to see how he conducts himself on a film set, and just kind of mouth dialogue. And boy, are the dialogues in this film. There are pages and pages of dialogues with him, and very intense and brooding characters. But it's been quite it's been one off the bucket list. What else can I say? And it's been also as far as the story goes, I have this fondness for something novel with thrillers, something that's not been done before. And I think this was it. When I heard the script, when Rumiji narrated it to me, I was floored, because I felt like, what an idea. And if we can execute it and be true to what is on the page, and it's come from Rumiji, we have a winner. And when I saw the film actually 10 days back, and I was floored because and I saw it without sound, without any BG, and it just holds the power of storytelling and just the bizarreness of the situation that these characters are in this house, and this absurd game that's going on. There's something, all this kind of, that's why I gravitated towards this.
Krystle, one is, you yourself working with the man, but I've always realized that for us in the media, it's not just how we react. For example, if I do an Amitabh Bachchan interview, how I would react, but how family reacts. So your mom, your family, how are they feeling, saying that, Krystle's in a movie with the great man?
My mom didn't believe me when I called her and told her that I'm in a film with Amitabh Bachchan. She was like, "Shut up, tell me who's in it." I said, "Yes, Mom, Amitabh Bachchan." She's like, "Shut up." I said, "No, really." She's like, "I'm coming." So that was the way things went. Because, for me, they have always wanted me to move into films, but I have always waited for the right one. And trust me, when this script was narrated to me by Ruby sir, he didn't tell me who the actors were. I fell in love with the script just as a script, and then everything was plus 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 and plus plus plus. I was like really excited just hearing the script as a whole, and then uske baad when I got to know Emraan Hashmi, Amitabh Bachchan, Anu Kapoor, and the entire stellar cast that we have, it was next level. For me to explain it to my parents was very difficult. That she's like, "Me, but explain to me, so you're in the same film." I'm like, "Yes, I'm in the same film."
So you had to convince them. That's so sweet.
Correct.
Imran, you're such a fine actor. I've always said that. I remain a fan. And, for all those who turned around and said, it's the Emraan Hashmi swag, and he can do these roles with swag in them. I mean, you've reverted with performances like Shanghai, Cheat India, all these phenomenal roles where you've just thrown the swag out of the window. But often in trailers, it can be a little deceptive. I feel that because you're playing an ad agency guy, the swag has come back in this role. You want to talk to me about the part and what really it entails?
Yeah, that was very funny. I was actually telling my manager, like, an hour back about the swag. We were discussing about these two characters. One is of Saga and of Chehre. He's seen both the films, and he was like, I was missing this, and you've done something different. I said, it's the same work I put into all my films. It's just that the character has swag, so you're connecting with that more.
Sure.
He personally didn't like a few other films I'd done before this. I was like that, but those are the characters I was playing. And sometimes in the scheme of things, it seems a little passive in that film. Like a film like Body is a character that is constantly absorbing these things and is scared for his life.
Yeah.
So the swag goes out of the window. So the audience is like, "Acha, wo kaisa performance tha?" But I was like, that is the performance. He has to look weak in those situations. It's not devoid of what's written on the page. So I was being as true to it. I said, "Acha, is cheez mein kuch alag tha." He's like, "Of course, these are very inspirational characters. They're gregarious. They're kind of overpowering. They're confident, and they make more of an impact, of course." So I think, yes, that's back with this character of Sameer in Chehre, because he is cocky, he comes with his swag, ambitious, fills the room with his aura, and there he meets this other person, Zaidi, Amit, who, un pe havi ho jata hai. He starts taking his case. And there the dynamics between these two kind of, loggerheads of two people who are very alike. They're both super confident, and then what comes out and what plays out that night. So, yeah, that's interesting.
Krystle, when actors do enter new territory, it's always really exciting for them. I know for a fact that Emraan actually did the reverse of what you're doing, because I remember speaking to him during Bard of Blood, talking about how, when you do a series format, a television kind of format, you're doing volume work, whereas you're going from the TV and the series format to cinema, so how have you found the ride? A lot of my actor friends tell me that you get to concentrate more because you have more time to do fewer scenes, so you get to work on your character a little more. Would that be a fair assessment, or you want to talk me through that?
Yes, from TV to films, you do get more time, but I feel like OTT and the web space right now gives you enough room to practice, to rehearse, to do, your readings with your entire team. So OTT is not very different or is pretty similar, I must say, than your films. But yes, TV and films are very different. Also, it's been years now since I did a last TV show. The last thing I did was OTT, so it's very similar. You get enough time to prep. You get enough time to, learn your scenes. You're not taxed with like 100 scenes a day. You do 1-2 scenes a day. You can look pretty. You can act well. You can, not have your makeup cracking by the end of the day because you've done 1 or 2 scenes. So, yeah, that's the only difference. But OTT and films are pretty similar.
It's such a coincidence that both of you are just coming off the back of 2 very successful music videos. Emraan had one with, Tanish Bagchi, with Rao and Sapru directing. You, Krystle, have just come off one with Jigar. Looks really cool and things like that. Enjoyed that aspect, Emraan, or would you just say that you've done that in the movies? I mean, you and Mohit were doing music videos in cinema before music videos became cool. Yeah. And here you now doing standalone music videos. Just a bit about that experience, man.
Yeah, it's a song that Bhushan Kumar made me hear in the lockdown because we were also bored and we want to get back to work. So he said that hear this track, and I heard it and I was like blown away. It's exactly the same thing that the track in our film in Chehre and Rangdarya did.
Yeah.
And I was listening to it on a loop, and like once the lockdown opens up, we have to do this. We have to make a music video, and that's when Vinay Radhika came in to shoot it. And spectacular music video, big budget, and shot in some really good locations and good narrative, interesting narrative. So yeah, it was a very. I mean, it's a been there, done that feel. I mean, it's like doing a song in a film, but and it's special because it's that one consolidated unit which has its own story, and yeah, it makes that kind of it's very very different kind of impact. And what views? I mean, I didn't imagine it would kind of explode that way. I mean, I knew it would be successful, but the way it kind of exploded on the scene, it was quite something.
And yours, Krystle, has a fair amount of gaming and, a really cool, funky vibe, as opposed to his, which is a bit of a traditional storytelling kind of video. You want to talk to me about that?
It was the first time for me where I shot everything against a green screen, and they just kept telling me, step on this, it's a mushroom, you grow big if you step on a mushroom.
It's like Mario.
So we have a money heist in it, we have Mario in it.
That's a fair assessment, correct.
Correct. There's like a lot of stuff happening, but when we were shooting, there was nothing happening. They're like, here, there's a dragon that's coming in, there's Game of Thrones going on. I'm just like, 1 second, what? Somebody explained. They're like, no, kar lo. So for me, what was more interesting than the song was the concept of how they were planning to shoot it, and the VFX and the entire planning of the video that they had penned out. And I just wanted to see how it turns out. And because in the lockdown there was like not much to do, I thought this was something good that we could do on one set that was enclosed. So we didn't have to go out, we didn't have to do different locations. Everything was one green screen. And then later we had to see what happens. Also, the steps are really weird in the video, like extremely weird, like not normally weird.
So, Emraan, these wonderful senior citizen actors, I mean, we're talking people like Jyothiman Chatterjee, Anuji, and never a dull moment when Annu Kapoor is around. Whenever he's come into the studio to do interviews, I've always factored in half an hour for stories, apart from the 20 minutes for the interview. So fun times hanging with him.
Yeah, he's a blast, and I spent some time with him in Slovakia and on the film set. He's always got these amazing stories. Everyone, Rumiji also, Amitji. So it was just a blast kind of tuning into this world that, some of the films I'd seen, and then I heard about stuff that, the time they had spent, how they made those films, and, the other stellar cast, like there's Raghuveer Yadav. I've been a big fan of his, from his serials and since Doordarshan days. I was like, boy, this is like a...
Yeah, he used to do that show where his aankh used to padao, Mungeri Lal. So cool. Yeah.
That was one of my favorite shows back then. And then it was like a kid in a candy store, just kind of working with all these, these veterans that had grown up watching and just mouth these dialogues with them. It was quite something. It's quite bizarre and surreal. Actually, I would end up working with all of them and be in one frame with all of them. And of course, at the helm of things, Amitji is an absolute blast to work with. And he makes you feel so comfortable because he is so humble and he's so calm, and you just forget that he is this mega star because he knows that he comes with that aura, but he wants to make you comfortable, and it's a very easy process. Like I didn't even think that he'd be okay with readings. I've done readings with him in my
what a pro. Yeah.
So he actually came after so many years, 78 he came, and I still go back to the story in Slovakia when our last day of shoot. Time was a problem, weather conditions, and the producer would have, probably would lose a lot of money if we didn't finish that shoot that day. He has actually stood from 10 in the morning to 3 in the afternoon outside in the snow, didn't go back to the van, didn't go back to the car, stood there, finished off that small action bit, and then he took his flight back. And at 78, after so many films, he doesn't need to do that. I mean, But he chooses to because he loves what he does.
Yeah, but Emraan, I mean, it's wrong of us to compare anybody to Mr. Bachchan. He's the definitive legend. But then everybody says that about you too, bro. I mean, and Krystle, you want to talk about your co-star? I mean, at least amongst the media, he's an eternal favorite. He shows up on time, does the job. His directors and producers love him because he gives you value for money. He's what I call a total professional. So you want to add to that, Krystle?
Along with that, he is a great company. He is very well read. He is very intelligent and very warm and comforting as a co-star because, for me, it was my first. So he was somebody I did most of my scenes with. So he made me feel very comfortable, very like, okay, chill out. You're doing okay. You're fine, So he's like this perfect good boy who's portrayed to always be a bad boy for some reason.
It's all the kissing history, I tell you.
He kisse bataye.
Well said. So, Krystle, just a bit about your character. I mean, I know it's a whodunit. It's a little difficult for everybody to talk about what they're doing in thrillers like this. But just for us to get a sense of what kind of a girl she is.
She's a very modern girl today's time, very well dressed, well spoken. That's as much as I can say about it. But her name's Natasha Oswal, and yeah.
And she's Imran's character's.
I can't say anything about it.
I know.
She's Imran's character's romantic interest. Imran's character's romantic interest. Is she now?
You tell me.
Well, that's out in the trailer, so that's pushing it. At least you're together in the trailer. So anyway, Emraan, the fact that, Chehre is the way it is, thrill a minute, chill a minute, that kind of vibe, it obviously calls for very quick delivery and reaction. Like they say, a lot of acting is about reacting.
Yeah.
So your growth as an actor, it must have really added to that, with this kind of reacting.
Yeah.
Whatever little I can see.
Because this film is so dialogue heavy, and there's constantly that, the party, this kind of constant conversation. And although it is dialogue heavy, it is so engrossing because everything, there's a beat to the story that's, it just adds up and it's progressing to something. There's always something happening. I had to be on my toes for this one because it just tested me as an actor. Working with the people in the same frame and to up my game, I had to just do another level of prep for this, because I was like, if I don't match up on this, I don't want to be the guy who screws things up, in the scheme of things. Because here I'm working with people who have like 40 years experience. I have like 15 or 18 years experience. I got to match up to that. So my process for this film was very different. This is one of those films where I kind of learned it up like a play. Like, I knew the first page to the last page, page after page, dialogue after dialogue. I didn't have
even other people's dialogues. Like you read through everything. Yeah. Wow.
Just probably the cues, but mine I knew from the first page to the last page, and I knew the kind of at least the context of what people were saying between those lines. So that's the kind of prep I did for this, to not screw up.
Sorry to interrupt, but it's out in the press saying that there's a 14-minute long scene without a cut with Mr. Bachchan. Were you guys on set when that happened? One of you?
I was not on set. The thing is, it's on him. Obviously, I am there in that scene,
Sure.
but I had finished my my work at that point of time, and they shot that at a later point. But what a monologue. That just is phenomenal. I saw it. I mean, I had heard that he'd done a tremendous job, and I saw it when I saw the film, and boy, that's a treat. It's just goosebumps. It's everything you love Bachchan for, and he's given that monologue, and it's about the game, it's about the judicial system, it's about everything, the loopholes, society, culture, and everything is there in that 14-minute long monologue. That just is the crux of the film and the game, which is brilliant.
My last question has got to be about filming in the snow. I take it was actual snow?
Yeah.
And not a snow machine?
No. When we reached there, everyone was praying because we went to Slovakia for the snow, and we reached there was no snow.
Oh, wow.
So I think the producer prayed really hard, and then there was it snowed in the night.
It's like Lagan.
Yeah, when we went up to that hilltop, then there was snow on the day of the shoot. So we were like, we would have to go back. That crew would have to go back.
Krystle enjoyed that. A lot of us keep our winter wear aside, so that at least we get to wear our boots and our winter wear. Or what's the giggling about? You didn't.
She loved the pool.
I love the pool.
Oh, it was a heated pool.
The swimming pool, not the snow.
Not a heated pool, let me tell you that.
A watered down version, no pun intended.
Watered down, that's a good one. Yeah, but just
I my winter wear, but I got to wear a lot of swimsuits.
in the cold. Yeah, good. So fine. We don't find out much about your character, but at least we know your fashion in the.
Always
in
on
the-
point.
What about you, Imran? Are you a winter person, summer person? Do you like,
I love winters. I hate wearing layers. I have a bad threshold for extreme heat and extreme cold. But give me the heat or the cold, and I'll take the cold any day. What I hate is wearing those layers of thermals and inners. So when you've seen me in the exterior shot in Slovakia, when you see the film, know that there are 8 layers inside that. I don't know how I managed it, but I packed myself with 8 layers. Because otherwise I won't be able to say dialogues. Because I have a terrible threshold for cold. So yeah, that was that.
Krystle, Imran, thanks so much for your time. And, this was so much fun. Can't wait to see Chehre and you guys in all your glory along with Mr. Bachchan. Have a safe and healthy day. Bye. Cheers.
Take care.
94.3 Radio 1. One world, your station.